Welcome back everyone. I am continuing on process with my large scale ship here to represent the mighty as my basically my flagship for the Crickland Empire, and as you can see so far, all I managed to get done is make a box or a dome. Really, that's all it was. I wasted half an hour just making some kind of weird shell. And we're gonna continue on with it, shall we? Although I was wondering if it was maybe too wide, but I think I'm looking at the top there, I do like the length and at least size of it there. It's just a matter now of filling it out and figuring out what the rest to do with it. Because, first off, my main concern is, did these things fix properly? No, they did not fix properly. God damn it. That's annoying as hell. Well, I think it's something we can work with anyway, because, like, as it's already seen there, once I can figure out this damn camera thing, and I'm kind of like having them slope inward anyway. So what I did have in mind was seeing about getting like a carapace on top of this thing. I don't know how exactly it's going to look when I'm done with it, but I think we're in a position to start doing that. Now, where's a good way to start? Well, preferably if I can get the right spot I want. Thank you. That is where I want it to go. Now I probably have to invert it, rotate it around, and not exactly certain what shape I want to take, but once we get this going, it should come along relatively quickly, because there's going to be a lot of little pieces, so this may take an eternity if I don't get that rhythm going. So yeah, do I want rotate or not? I'll have to experiment with this some to see which I like better, quite frankly. Not to mention I'm gonna have to do some proportional scaling to kind of get it to kind of slope in there nicely, which looks like I'm gonna need to do. So let's stretch it out, shall we? I just gotta figure out which axis is the right one. So Z flattens it or shrinks it in if I want more of a curve. Y just makes it longer, which I'm okay with, and X tight is of course the length, which I'm okay with. If it can slope into the metal frame, that can look good. So that's a good start. I don't think that's too bad. It's kind of sinking into the body a little bit, but I think that's a good start. Do I want to move it into the metal frame so that way I don't have to look at the extra layer of metal? That's my only concern there. Once I get it positioned properly. Yeah, the only problem is I may need to rotate it actually, because rotation is part of the problem there, because as soon as I move it again, it throws everything out of whack again. So we'll try one more. Not necessarily fond of the fact that it's sloping in too much, but maybe I can fix that with proper scaling. Yeah, Z axis helps a little bit there. Just a little bit. But if it's the form, I can even put like another piece underneath there just for the sake of it. What kind of shell piece would I like to put in there? That's a little, that is discreet and subtle. Because really this is not going to be a fancy showpiece. It's just going to be really small and it's just barely going to be noticeable. That's what I like to try. Basically, a lot more detail work is the name of the game here. Probably going to have to be a bit wider, obviously. But I don't know if I want too much in the way of length in that. This might be a bit odd, though, to do, because of how small everything else is. Because we have stretched textures to deal with. So we'll see. Yeah, because it's flat as hell, but if I do this right, it's not going to be noticed. I just gotta rotate, I guess. Yeah, this might be a bit more of a hassle than I like. But I'm interested in giving it a try. Maybe if I inverted, would that be better? Wrong inversion. There's something there. because then it can stretch out everything. And the rest will be underneath the body, so it won't look, the textures won't look too messed up at least. It's just a hassle of making sure it's in the proper place. Now of course change shed scaling, rotate in. Make sure we do this just right. So bear with me a moment as I figure out this craziness insanity. This crazy insanity, as it were. I almost wonder if I want it like that. Only problem is that top piece kind of sticks out, but I might be alright with that, because it could serve as like a vent of some sort. It's kind of hard to say until the rest is complete though, but I do like that. Now, do I widen it or not? I could definitely make it longer if I so wish. Or make it narrower. Maybe narrower might be an option. Probably not. Yeah, and set axis gives us a few things to play with there too. Let's try making it a tiny bit longer. Because I like that potential there. Just that back, if I can somehow hide that metal frame in the bottom there. That's my only concern. So that will require a bit of rotation work, I think. Like I said, bear with me. Bear with me a bit there. Because I think we almost got it. There, that looks pretty good. And it doesn't intrude on the metal frame at all, almost. It's almost a perfect fit. Could probably narrow it a little bit, but I'm not too picky. I almost want to adjust the rotation by a single degree, if that's at all possible. There. That's all I'm going to do for that, for now at least. Maybe if I think of it later on down the road, we're good. Now let's continue on with the rest of this frame, shall we? Although I don't really want to constantly be using the same type of shell, so I want to try and get some variety in this. I might do multiples of them there as we go, but I don't want to like have the entire center portion be the same shell piece, whatever they call it. Let's see, Iconium Models 38, I guess, so how can we improve upon that? We got these kind of shell pieces here. There are a bit of lighting there, but that, considering the size of this thing, if I do it right, that's not a concern. Just gotta make sure it connects to the right point. So, let's see what we can do about this thing, shall we? Because it could, I'm almost half tempted to flip it around like that. It could fit pretty well to some of that metal component. I'm not sure quite yet, but I am interested to see if I can make it work. Hell, I'm almost content to leave it good size there because I like the potential of that, but let me experiment with it a bit. Gonna have to do a mix of rotating it and then just putting it into place and see if we can find a good sweet spot with it. Also, I'll need to see if proportional scaling will affect this any, because one of these thins it out a little bit, so I do need to be careful of that. That's going to have an effect too as I play with this. This may be a little bit too big. I'm just wondering if I can, any way at all, I can make it like just smaller or something. Because that provides a little bit of a dome shape I do not like up in the front. So maybe I do want to invert it. Well, that's a bad inversion, isn't it? Maybe I don't want this. It sticks out way too much. So much for that idea. Let's try another piece. This is sideways, so that definitely doesn't help, because it just means I put in the wrong spot somewhere. There. I don't think this is going to do it either, quite frankly. I just get that feeling. I'm not sure what exactly it's meant for, to be honest, but it would need to be widened quite a bit. And even then, it's going to have a rough end on the bottom, which I don't think I'm fond of. And of course, that lip on the back is annoying. I could play with him, probably get something to work, but don't know if I like that. I wonder, can we use this piece again here, though? Only for something a little bit different. And then maybe we could put like different kinds of shelling underneath there. It'll be a different shape, that's for sure. I just need the metal, of course, as always, to kind of mesh together. Then flatten it. Flatten it a little bit, lengthen it, maybe rotate it, we'll have to see. Let's see. And maybe I have like a copy, although if I do a copy, it's not going to be in the place I want anyway, is it? Nope. It's way out there in the middle of nowhere. So, is that worth getting a second copy of it? Might have to do singular rotation again, just to make sure it fits into place a little bit properly. I don't know what counts as proper though, to be honest, because sinks in the middle frame there. And of course, I don't think I want to sink into that piece, because eventually, ideally, in the end, this piece is going to be completely gone. So I need to remember that. There will just be tiny components of it showing like in the back here. So ideally, most of this metal frame's not even going to be visible, so I should not have to stress about making it fuse in there pretty well or smoothly, if I can help it. Although, maybe I could play with the wings. Maybe there's a possibility with some of these wings that can help, because I did use them from like my grasshopper. So there's a lot of potential with that too. Let's see. Do I want to use this experiment with the wings now or not? Or wait till later? I am getting near the middle, so this, if I'm going to use it all, this would be an ideal position or place to use it. I'm just kind of worried it'll give me the same issues as I did before with that those larger shell pieces. And of course, the rotational snap needs to be adjusted again before I start messing with it. Of course, every time I use these big giant wings, I'm kind of content to keep it because it looks like it works very well, considering these races are very exactile to Kryklon, so it seems to work. But that's not what the purpose of this thing's going to be. Let's try and use it for something else. And I don't want it to extend out. I don't want it be exposed at all. I want to kind of form right into the body, ideally. It's just a question of how is that going to look when it's eventually formed in there. Because I'm going to need something to kind of fit in the middle there. Because that's pretty good right there in the middle, as it currently is. It's just this piece here is kind of overlapped with it some. Let me just zoom in a little bit more, get the rotation going. And there's a good curve to it there. What does proportional scaling do when I adjust that? When I get the right proportional scaling there. Because how much of this do I want to sink in if I'm going to sink it in at all? Because if anything, I would like to get rid of these tips at the end and leave the wing. That would be an ideal final result I would like there, if nothing else. So, is there any way I can do that there? Oops, no, I do not want to hide you. Only way I can think of is like rotate downward, like that might work. That could give me problems later on down the road though. And now let's get this, well again there's the problem, metal frame. Yeah, that kind of messes with that some. And I don't want to make it too long because then components are going to start sticking out. This could be a bit of an issue. I don't think I want that either, damn it. Let's just stick with the try and true for now. Stick with that. So where do I want to put these pieces in? How can I stretch them in the way that they look original rather than just copy and paste that back piece? That's what I'd like to find out. Again, have to experiment with it some. Probably want to keep it sideways or something, because if I leave it upside down, it's going to look identical to this one piece here. So that's probably what my thought process is right now, starting off. Just gotta be careful with that, and I need to get it to show up too. Damn it. I'm losing my train of thought a little bit here. So, let's scale this thing down. I wonder, can I make it really narrow? Because then it starts to look really different without the components sticking out. What happens if I shorten it? Well, then it starts to look more like that RP, so that's a bit of a problem. And if I flatten it, which interestingly enough makes it longer, so that's a weird little side effect there I'm not really happy with, but we'll make do. Now that's really warped textures, isn't it? Not something I'm really fond of. Yeah, well, we'll see what I can do about it. Anyway, where could I place that? I could almost form it along the side of that piece there if I so wish. Almost. Now, this is going to be a very long process apparently, because I think I'm 15 minutes in or so and only got like the first 3 pieces sewn in. So this is going to be a long, unproductive episode. It'll look good in the end though, I promise you. Once this damn rotation stops messing up with me. Now I have to rotate like this and then try it again, which is annoying as hell. And let me guess. It won't rotate as it should, right? Nope, it actually works this time. Thank God. Set axis doesn't work now though. It's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? So, I can still I can turn it, but not much else. So my options are pretty limited here, damn it. Because this is going to be a fine issue of repetition having to do this. To get the right positioning I want. Let me just get rid of that altogether. I really hope it doesn't have to deal with this the entire time. Oh well, let me just try and fit it in. And actually, let me get my copy there too, just so I can get a little more consistent feel for it. If I can rotate some more, that would be pretty good. It looks good when it curves up like that. Do I want to keep that though? I want to keep it flush ideally, but I like the potential of those wings. How does it look when I curve it down more? It looks good there. It's not as intrusive. But that forms really well together too. Damn it. I have a little bit of an issue here. I don't know which one I like more. I like that curving. It doesn't get rid of the metal properly though. Can I move it up some to help with that? Or is it possible to rotate? I can't rotate this head. No, I can't. Damn it. What happens if I rotate this head then rotate again? Not a whole lot. It seems like the exact same rotation. So yeah, there's that going for me. I like the potential here though. So how do we clean up this a little bit? I could put a shell piece up top there, kind of like interlacing there or something. But it's going good. I do like that. It just doesn't cover very much though. Now, this piece here isn't... Could I use this piece again? I might, if I'm gonna make this work, it has to feel consistent with like this middle piece. That's my thought process there. So let's try if we can in any way get this to connect to how the middle is and actually look decent as a result. Gonna have to shrink it down, and I might make it longer or stretch it out longer rather than have the whole thing be of a similar size. So what does set axis say? Well, wrong axis, I guess. Can I make this look good in any way? We'll know in a moment. Like I said, this is gonna feel very, very unproductive. But give it time. Rome was not built in a day. But how do I want that to stick out now? Or do I want to stick out at all? Because doing it that way is not very helpful, is it? It feels like I did nothing at all. I can adjust this set axis some. And then just offset in there so I don't get little bit less metal frame. What happens if I shrink set axis again? It just, the whole thing sinks in. Oh, that's interesting. Although we got some really texture issues there if I were to kind of stretch it out like that. And how about winding it? Winding it doesn't really do too much. If anything, this piece looks more like the bottom pieces right there. And it's not even the exact same piece or component. It just looks like a copy of it the more I wind it. So let's try not to do that, shall we? Or maybe it's just the set axis that's doing that for me. Although I do need that metal frame to kind of form in some. So how do we make this work? Because the length, we got some options here with the length. It's just making this cover a portion of the textures and then making it look good. What if I just move its placement some? Would it look better if I move it to the front or middle there, the metal frame? It might look better if it just covers up the metal frame, quite frankly. It's just a matter. Yeah, again, that's my big issue I'm having. It looks almost identical to these pieces, which technically may not be a bad thing. It has a nice consistent theme to it as a result. And it forms quite well to the shell there. It almost looks like it's attached to it without really overlapping, so maybe we are making progress. Only problem now is I feel like I have to do that with these other two pieces, which could be a bit of an issue, the metal frame I'm referring to. So let's make another one, I guess. Because now it feels like I have to put 2 more copies of that in for these, at least this back one here. And I don't know how it's going to look when I cover everything else. I just gotta find a proper spot to connect it to, damn it. That'll let me connect. Okay, I think that's the best I can do, so let's try that. Twist it around. Bring it in. There we go, we got ourselves a giant monolith. Or obelisk, or whatever you want to call it. A giant tower on the back of this thing. Which is not what we want, so we're getting rid of it. Alright, it's gonna have to twist sideways a little bit. Of course, go figure, it's not gonna goddamn let me. Let's try 110, see if that can curve pretty well. No, it's wrong curve, damn it. I want to curve the other way. So we'll try 70 there and see if that works any better. Ah. I think I want to twist it, that's what it was. I'm using the wrong axis there. Let me just center it first. I don't know what affecting like that will do. Oh, god damn it. Because of the rotation, it's messing everything up. So I don't know what I want anymore. Because all these rotations are all messed up now. Because since it's curving in there, I want to twist it some so that way it can be more flush in there. So I want to twist it sideways, that's really all it is to it. But when I rotate like that, it goes down like that, which is not what I want either. So let's figure this out. What twists the center there? Apparently this component here. That just moves it up and down like... And that doesn't even rotate it the way I want anymore. I'm all sorts of confused now. Damn it. So 90 degrees there. Then how do I want to twist this? Because something is wrong there when I try and put it back into place. I'm not sure what it is. Let me try something drastic and see what happens. We'll try 140 when I put it in there. Yeah, there's something going on here. Maybe I'll slowly get it sometime. I'm not sure. I'm really confused. Maybe I have such a primitive mind I don't know what's going on. Let's try this again. 90 degrees. There, we have it like this now, and I just want to twist it sideways a tiny bit, but of course when I do that, yeah, it does twist it in different axes now at least. There, now we're making progress. If only a little bit, damn it. That took a lot longer to figure out than it probably should have. I feel like an idiot. Yeah, and considering we're not even halfway through this damn shell. So it's going to take a bit of work. Now, let's try and keep a consistent type of size on this thing. At least a little bit, because it needs to sink in. Gotta get rid of the bottom metal frame if we can help it. Once I get in the right spot, I think it's rotated down too much, that might be part of my problem. So let's try this again, shall we? No, that's scaling. Damn it! That's the wrong axis. There. Now, do I shrink it down or not? Because it's not quite there, I need to rotate a tiny bit more. So I need to cover up that metal frame, damn it. That's really all I want out of this. And I think it covers it now. Just need to reduce the set axis, I think, to kind of flush it down some more. That could have been good if I just had it be covered over a little bit. Now, there might be some more work that'll have to be done here. I'm getting that feeling. Because yeah, that overlap is not clean. Not to my liking. And there's still a little bit of this bottom piece that's sticking out. And a little piece of that shell too, which is annoying. So, how are we going to fix this little problem I'm having? Yeah, that's going to take a lot more work than I would like. Damn it. And to think all that I wanted out of this piece was just something to cover over the metal frame. That's all you were meant to do. It seems okay otherwise if I don't pay attention to anything else. But still, this texture stands out because it's so much bigger. I can see the outline that compared to this other, the shell, so... yeah, that's a shame. Is there any way I can make this look better? Because that sticks out way too much to my liking. And let's see, maybe if I rotate it down is probably a bad idea, is it? Yeah, because the bottom piece sticks out again. I don't want this sticking out either. This is hard. Trying to figure out what I want here. Oh boy, I think I'm gonna take forever with this video. And we're not even halfway through because I would like to put a little bit of cosmetic stuff here as well for good measure. But it's slow progress. It is slow progress, but it's progress nonetheless.